part of the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed in the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to Deputy Clerk, who sits to my left, your right, Miss Ashley. So, is there anybody? I don't have any comment cards this morning. Is there anybody that would like to speak on agenda items, on public comment? Seeing none, I will close the public comment on agenda items and move to the consent agenda. Is there anybody that would like to remove anything from the consent agenda? Commissioner Adams, act.
F, like Foxtrot.
Okay. Commissioner Harvey,
I have none, sir.
Commissioner Pickens,
I have none.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
I have none.
and I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like for you to entertain the motion to accept items A, B, C, D, E, G, H, I, and J.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda minus item F. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Commissioner Adams, act. Item F.
So I pulled item F just to acknowledge the fact that for all intents and purposes, the staff and the union have done a great job of working together to achieve their goals as far as what was laid out by the president as well as our staff, and that's what our executive meeting was earlier, was to discuss this. I think it's a good agreement. I think there's always places we could do better, but for where we are compared to where we were 2-3 years ago, I think it's a step in the right direction. I just want to say I appreciate everybody who was involved in that negotiation. Thank you.
Is that a motion to approve, sir?
Second.
We have a motion to approve on item F and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. We're going to move on to item 7, new business. Item A is the Public Works proposed MSBU discussion. I believe that was requested to be on the agenda by Commissioner Harvey.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and thank you. And if you don't mind, this item will be pulled off there. Came to find out that during the research that the roads were owned by the county but not taken into the county maintenance system. So this discussion needs to go all the way back to the beginning and be cleaned up and ready for.
You're requesting it just be pulled
Yes,
from the
sir.
agenda. Okay. Rich, that's just pulling it now, right? Okay. Item A is pulled from the agenda. Item B, Public Works vacation of the 10-foot drainage easement at Himalayan and Interlochen. Resolution is attached. Who's taking that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We got a request from the resident that lives on Himalayan Street at 519 requesting a vacation of a drainage easement that we do not currently use, and we have no future use for the drainage easement. What we found out is that a portion of the mobile home that is existing there lies within inside of the easement. Public Works has no futuristic need for the easement, so that we were concurrent to go ahead and vacate that easement.
So the land's actually owned by them, it just has an easement, drainage easement across it?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. Is there any questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the drainage easement resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. We'll move into item 8, code enforcement. Thomas, could you please come forward?
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, Mr. Hall contacted me this morning. He's running a few minutes late. He wasn't feeling well. Could you move him down to the bottom of that? And we'll start with B, if you don't mind.
Not a problem. Okay, Thomas, did you catch that? We're going to move item A
Yes, sir.
down to last.
To the last? Okay.
Yes. And we'll start with item B, which is case number 2005-1325.
Yes, sir. Address is 112 Orient Street. The property owner's name, that was a typo. The property owner's name is 112 Orient Street, Interlochen Land Trust. The violation was unsafe structure. The original fine amount was $13,868.50. The total cost of enforcement action was $3,038. Property owners recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, is there anybody present today that would like to speak in favor or against item B? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the actual hard cost of $3,038 if paid within 90 days.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion, multiple seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Item C, which is 19-172.
Address is 116 Horse Landing Road. Property owner's name is William Harassed and Diane McNulty. The violation was care premises. The original fine amount was $24,037. Total cost of enforcement action is $1,854. The property is now compliant and when owner is requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Is there anybody here this morning that would like to speak in favor of or against this case? Seeing none, all chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of 1854, the amount if paid within 90 days on Codes Case 2019-00172.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Item D, which is case 22-2897.
Address is 114 Horse Landing Road. Property owner's name is William Harassed and Diane McNulty. Violation was living in an RV and care premises. The original fine amount was $5,037. The total cost of enforcement action is $1,200. The property is now compliant and the owner is requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Anybody is present today that would like to speak for or against this case? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of Codes Case number 22-002897, amount of $1,200 if paid within 90 days.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next is item E, which is 2016-103.
Address is 314 North Edgeline Road. Property owner's name is Joseph Larragay. Violation was unsafe structure and care premises. The original fine amount was $56,872. Total cost of enforcement action was $2,046. The property owner has recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Is there anybody present that would like to speak for or against this case? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, on Code Case 2016-00103, recommend $2,046 if paid within 90 days.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Sure.
So I just want to disclose that I'm friends with Mr. Wood as well as his representation that's here today, but it will not affect my vote in this matter.
Okay, thank you.
And I have the same.
He reached out to me also. I only got to talk to him for a minute as he was busy and I wasn't able to get back with him at a time that he could take the call. So, item F.
Code Case 2015-14. Address is 102 Riverside Lane, Palaca. Property owner's name is Tyler Wood. Violation was unsafe structure and care premises. The original fine amount was $24,637. Total cost for the enforcement action is $2,184. The property owners recently purchased the property, is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody present today? Please come forward. Try to hold your comments to 3 minutes if possible, sir.
Okay. My name's Michael Traver, live in Palatka. Tyler Wood bought this property at the end of October. And when he bought the property, there were existing code liens on it, but he was not notified of it when the deed was recorded. The deed was recorded with code liens on it, and the previous property owner has other property in county. And so how the fines can transfer from the owner that has property in Putnam County to a new purchaser it amazes me. The people that live next to this property have completely trashed their property as well as trash all over the backside of Mr. Wood's property. And Mr. Wood has went to great expense to get trees that had been illegally dumped on his property out. We've cleaned up a lot of the stuff, and the people next to his property, as of this morning, I was notified by the neighbor that they're still dumping trash on the property that's beside his. There's an abatement foreclosure notice on the property beside his, but I've been informed that the abatement will not include Mr. Wood's property. So Mr. Wood is now also going to be responsible for cleaning up the trash that we've already cleaned up, plus the trash that the neighbors have dumped on his property. He lives in Kentucky. He's available by speakerphone. If anybody needs to speak with him, I can call him and he'll answer immediately. But in reality, as soon as he recorded the deed, he instantly started receiving bills for these claims. The previous property owner lives in this county and was notified by a hand-delivered letter that the property was going to be sold for tax liens. Mr. Wood bought the property, paid off the existing tax liens of over $7,500 on the day that he purchased the property. So he's in good faith, making efforts to be a good member of the Putnam County community. He plans to use this as a vacation area. He wants to improve the property even more. And from knowing him, and he's a very upstanding person, so for him to be stuck with, even the reduced amount of $2,184 is just like adding insult to injury to a brand new property owner in Putnam County. Like I say, Mr. Wood's available if anybody would like to ask him any questions specifically. And other than that, I really don't have a whole lot to say. Unless anybody has questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Anybody have any questions at this time? Thank you for coming.
But our request is through the extent of this expense that has already been made to clean up this existing mess that he had no part of, which wasn't transferred to the owners of more property in Putnam County, that he not be held liable fully for these fines. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming today. The board have anybody else that would like to speak in favor or against this case? Chair will enter the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on this one, understanding the fact that I think Mr. did get kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. The board is trying to recoup the fees of the citizens of the county, but I think in this case we could reduce that by the monthly administrative costs. And I would like to make a recommendation that we set $14.54 if paid within 90 days.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. I just want to say one thing before we move to the next case. I understand the position that Mr. Wood was in. I truly do. This is not unusual. if you think about it, just about half the cases that come before us for fine reductions were cases that had previous code liens on it that the owner either didn't do his due diligence and find out about the lien, or bought it knowing that there was a lien and cleaned it up and then came back, and because they cleaned it up, they don't think they should have to pay a fine at all. So, you know, I just wanted to let the board know that, and Mr. Tyler, you can tell Mr. Tyler that that's part of the deal, is that, you know, this isn't the first time this has come before us, almost the exact same thing. It's almost every meeting. So, well, thank you, and we'll move on to case number 19-00683.
Address is 155 Bay Street. Property owner's name is Veronica Avery. Violation was unsafe structure and care premises. The original fine amount was $22,287. The total cost for enforcement action is $1,784. Property owner has recently purchased the property. The property is now compliant and requesting the fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Are we on a different case, Thomas, because?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I have.
Hold on. Case number is 2019-00683.
We have no backup. So there's no backup for item G in our book.
Thomas, what was the, on the case number 2019-683?
Yes, sir.
What was the staff recommended amount?
$1,784.
$1,784.
Yes, sir.
You have paperwork on that? Could we take a 3-minute
don't have
recess and make
paperwork?
us copies, and we want to see this paperwork before we hear this case, please? And we're going to take a 3-minute recess. time, and, now that we have the right paperwork on this particular, agenda item, does the commission need any further time to review, or can I have Thomas move into this? Thomas, if you'll go ahead and start over with this case now that we have, the corrected paperwork.
Case number is 2019-00683. Address is 155 Fay Street. Property owner's name is Veronica Avery. Original fine amount was $22,287. Total cost of enforcement action is $1,784. Property owners recently purchased the property, is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend a reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here this morning that would like to speak in favor? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Morning, my name's Dave Hicks. I'm not a new owner. I've been on the deed the entire time, and for whatever reason, the paperwork keeps getting sent to Ohio to my aunt that wants no part of this property. It's an estate property from my grandfather. If you dig far enough down on the owls in there, I'm on there. I'm not a new owner, but they keep sending any notice of anything about this property to Ohio. I've asked the clerk's office repeatedly to send it to me. I have a home in LaBelle, south of here. I'm gonna take residence of this one now that I've brought it up to code and because nobody else wants to do anything about it. Just ask a little bit of leniency on the fine because they keep sending it to my aunt in Ohio that has washed her hands of the property. I have no idea why. I mean, I've been paying the taxes for the last 5 years on it. And every year I ask them, would you please send me the tax bill? And they keep not sending it. They keep sending it to Ohio where it's being ignored. Put extensive repairs into the property. Got a huge pile of storm debris out front of it that I'm still going to have to pay to haul off. Remediated all the issues in. I've got flooring going in it today. Appliances were delivered yesterday. I plan on taking residence and being a productive taxpayer. Just asking you to give me as big a break as you can. I have spent a truckload of money fixing this.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Appreciate you coming this morning. Anybody else that would like to speak for or against this case? Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, on case number 2019-00683, the recommendation, staff recommendation is $1,784, paid within 90 days.
We have a motion and a second under discussion. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to mention that I believe in those instances, you need to get with the property appraiser's office and have the mailing address changed on the parcel to... Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Mr. Hicks, if you're gonna speak, the meeting's recorded, so I need, if you're gonna have to step back up here, not a problem.
The reason the deed's like that, it was, again, it was an inheritance. It went to children, my mother, her brother, and 2 aunts. And my mother's passed, one of the aunts has passed, and it keeps splitting out. And the paperwork just keeps going wherever it is. I don't know why they're starting with Veronica Avery. I've met the woman once in my life. She's never been here. I've phoned her. She wants no part of the property, doesn't want to spend a dime on it. I'm trying to keep it in the family. Gone to great expense to do that. And again, I've been to the property appraiser's office. Every time I'm at the tax collector's office, I make the same request. Hey, can you just send me the tax bill? You know, when I leave here, that's where I'm going to go pay this year's taxes. Because they still haven't sent me the bill. Also the paperwork for the, what it was finally agreed to. Could you please send it to 155 address to the number? I've never met them.
Y'all,
Mr.
wait a minute,
Chair.
excuse me. Y'all
I'm sorry.
y'all need to address this conversation to
Yes.
me. If you wanna have a sidebar after the
Yes, sir, I'm
meeting, I'm
sorry.
sure
I'm
Thomas
sorry.
would be happy to have one
Yes.
with you. But I'm sure that there's something, Mr. Hicks, on here about who's the owner of record, and I don't know that you can just go down and get it owner of record changed because you say.
Oh, I'm not asking
you're
the owner record to be
of
changed.
record.
I just want me to,
The mailing
I'm entitled to a
address.
copy of the bills, but they
I
keep sending them to
understand.
Ohio.
I understand that, sir. I'm just saying that's not what's before us this morning, but I understand the frustration you must be feeling. I just don't know that you can just go down and just say about sending me the bills from now on, I'm gonna pay them instead of my aunt or whoever.
And
is
I have
owner.
a 10 o'clock appointment with an attorney to start chasing the paperwork legally.
Yes, sir.
I have a real estate attorney at 10 o'clock that I'm meeting with.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. You done, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Yes, Commissioner Harvey?
Mr. Moore, real quick, I see Mr. Hicks has his checkbook in his pocket, and I appreciate that. If he pays this off, though, today, we all vote on it to go away, he's still not the legal owner of the property yet, correct? So he's just gonna pay a lien.
Not the owner of record. That's correct.
Whoever is the owner of record, the lien will be released. And there, yes, yes. It's at all.
Somewhere down the line. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you for coming, Mr. Hicks. With that, we're gonna go to, item H, 2021-0160.
Address is 110 Lincoln Street. The property owner's name is Catherine Eotis. Violation is care of premises. The original fine amount is $11,043.50. Total cost for enforcement action is $1,530. Property owner has recently purchased the property. It's now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend a reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Is anybody in attendance today that would like to speak for or against this case, please come forward. If you would state your name and address record, please.
Sean Adichie. You want the address of the problem or where I live?
Pardon me?
Which address? This address? or
Mailing
where I live?
address.
My mailing address is 1980 Old Time Avenue, St. Augustine, 32084. This property we bought, we knew it had some cleanup to do on it. We didn't know how much it was because we weren't able to walk it because it was so bad. We did look and tried to find to see if there was any liens. We couldn't find any. We went out there to clean up and then found a notice that was just put out there the day before. This property had someone dumping tires on it for quite some time. Turned out to be about 12,000 pounds worth of tires that I had to take to the dump. It took quite a bit of work, quite a bit of money and labor and materials to do that. We are just asking for a reduction in the reduction or a waiver. If we can do that, we did clean it immediately. That's it.
You realize that every single one of these that come before us is almost the exact same thing being said over and over again. We bought the property, it was dirty, we cleaned it up, we should get more than just the regular fine reduction because we cleaned it up. You know,
We tried to find the liens and, you know, we couldn't find any liens listed online. And when I talked to Mr. Moore, he said just to call them next time we buy a property. It would be easier to find it, but.
Yeah, you have to do a municipal lien search, is the terminology.
Right.
okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Moore, in that manner, had he done the municipal lien search, would he have found it? Or do we have filed that lien yet? He would have found it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept $1,530 if paid within 90 days.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna move back up to item A, code case number 2004-110.
Address is 309 K9 Street. Property owner's name is Francis Hall and Janice, housewife, life estate. Violation is care premises and business in the residential. The original fine amount was $60,713. Total cost of enforcement action was $2,504. The property owners purchased the property. It is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Thank you. Is there anybody in attendance this morning who would like to speak in favor or against this case?
Mr. Hall.
Mr. Hall doesn't want to, and I'm not gonna force him to do it. Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
2008, I purchased the property to clean up a mess in our neighborhood. When I accomplished that, I went to John Salmon, who I'd known for years, and I said, look, all I want to do is polish the house, clean up all the rubbish and car parts and stuff, and I said, all I want to do with the property is to mow it. John told me, if you'll buy a demolition permit and do what you said you'd do, he said, we'll reduce or forgive the fines. I did that. I went back to John. He had visited the property and considered it, and he told me at that point in time that all the fines had been forgiven. Fast forward to today, I have a buyer for the property, and I got a call from the title company that there was a lien against the property. Told me that they had told me about that at the time. I gotta tell you, it just didn't register, I guess, because I had the means at that time, and I should have and could have paid it off. So I'm here today to ask you if you can lower the fines on the property.
Thank you, sir. You know, the staff recommendation, I don't know if you've been told, was to lower it from $60,000 down to $2,504. And, by the way, I don't think Mr. Salmons had the authority to waive any fines when he was a code enforcement officer. So, you know, I'm sorry that you were told that. So, anyhow, that's what the staff recommendation is to reduce the fine from $60,713 down to $2,504. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming today. Commissioner Adams-Act.
When did you bring it in compliance?
He can't hear you well. Mr. Hall, the question was asked, when did you bring it into compliance? Or Thomas, when was it brought into compliance?
Well, the property was abated by us. It was brought in compliance by us. And I guess when it was in compliance, and then when he purchased it, somebody had already illegally dumped more stuff on it before and then he had to clean that up too. So,
When did the abatement happen?
2008.
But that didn't make it in compliance, is what Thomas was saying, because of that.
We abated it. We cleaned it up. We paid a contractor. It was compliant. Okay.
Then it
But
got
then the
dumped on
owner
it.
they were supposed to request a fine reduction, which they were told that in the notes, which they never did. Then he sold it. Then he bought it. But when he bought it, somebody already threw more garbage and stuff on the property, which he had to clean up. Right. And a lien search was never done when he did his closing. The liens were recorded and they would have been seen. So there was liens on it when he bought it.
Thank you. Any further questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm very, this case concerns me. I know Fran Hall personally. Him and I cleaned up many places together out in Larkin Lake Estates. I think to answer the question, it was 2008 that it was cleaned up. So I make a motion that the county accepts $1,076 for the abatement cost and be done with this. It's paid within 90 days.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Chair will entertain another motion.
I'd make a motion that we take off the administrative monthly at $460, similar to what we did in the other one, which would be $2,044, $46.
Do we have a motion for $2,046 and a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. You have the amount. What was it, 2,046? $2,046 to be paid within 90 days. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, that's the end of our code enforcement section. Item 8, we're gonna move into appointments. Commissioner Adamsack. Commissioner Harvey.
I have none that are listed here, but I would like to go ahead on our West Putnam MSBU. As we found out that the commissioners appoint every year, I'd like to appoint Richard Atkins, Andre Reynolds, George Whitehill, Brian Kelly, Ralph Hagee, and Chris Moley to the West Putnam MSBU.
Is that a nomination or is that an appointment? They're all a district?
Can we repeat the names again so we can?
Yes, and Richard Atkins, Andre Reynolds, George Whitehill, Brian Kelly, Ralph Hagee, Chris Molloy, Molloy. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and those are district, so if MSBU falls in your district, it's a district appointment, just making sure. Thank you. No problem, no problem. Okay, so, Commissioner Pickens, do you have any appointments for us today?
I have none.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
I have none.
And I have none. Next, we're gonna move to, public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the board is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about the matter that has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comments cards are conveniently placed in the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits at my left, your right, Ashley. I have Nat Gill. Come on, Nat, you got what you wanted.
He's on the roll.
Yeah, I know.
I'll make it real fast. Nat Gill, 105 Shady Oak Lane. I speak for the union. I'm the president of Local 3529. And I wanted to give an update. Last time I spoke up here, I was imploring the county and all of y'all to get involved with the large fundraiser we were doing. And that fundraiser went off spectacularly. So we raised a large sum of money for this family. The outpouring from the community, from management, from commission, from my chiefs. I mean, everyone that wanted to get involved got involved, and it was phenomenal. So just a heartfelt thank you for us. Thank you from the family. I've had the privilege to go out and meet them at their house and inform them just what an amazing accomplishment this was. Real quick side note, I was reading in my Bible this morning, Matthew 6, there's a scripture about when your right hand does something, don't let your left hand know what it is, because what's done in secret, the Lord will reward you for it, right? So the next part of this is hard for me because it's someone that I very much care about, someone I'm very proud to be associated with. But a local contractor went with me to meet the family, and he got together with a Putnam County contractor co-op. All of his friends and comrades and colleagues, they got together, and we've been able to, with him leading it and leading the charge with doing this, we're going to be able to build an entire addition for this young man to be able to come home into. That's going to be a clean sanitary space for him. It'll be his own ADA shower. It'll be set up for the needs that are going to be specific for him. There's plans after talking with the family of hoping to have this young man home within a calendar year after the event from the hospital. So he's got a long road ahead of him, but a good group of local contractors from our county, men and women that care about the citizens and the people. They wish not to have their names out there, which I understand. So what's done in secret, the Lord will reward him for, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So just another step, as I said earlier, one person can do one thing, but that one thing might empower others to be able to step in and do that. And so I encourage everyone listening to this, everyone on the board, everyone in attendance, if you can do one thing for somebody, it might be the very thing that sparks off something phenomenal. I mean, we raised a large sum of money, which I didn't believe that we would be able to raise that much. In the end, we're able to do this very costly addition for this family that needs it, which I never would have imagined being able to do that. It's just been one little step has led to multiple people and agencies and demographics being able to get involved in this. So very grateful, Very thankful for y'all's participation. Definitely, anyone that gave their time and energy and resources to make this happen, it's much appreciated by us. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for your time.
Matt, I think the big kudos here goes to you and your crew. I mean, Commissioner Harvey, I think Commissioner Pickens said it one time so adequately well, that when you cook with Commissioner Harvey, you just show up and take the glory. He's already done all the work and got everything ready. You show up, he hands you a set of tongs, you do the job, you get done, you go home, and he cleans everything up or has help or brings help with him. So between him cooking and all your firefighters and all the people that were there that day doing that job, y'all deserve all the credit here. That was a big deal. I was just glad to be a very small part of the thing. Like I said, a very small part of what you and your crew did. So
Well, I appreciate
you
that.
need
Yeah.
you need a good solid slap on the back yourself, my friend.
We got plenty of those, so thank you much for your time. I
Thank
greatly
you,
appreciate it.
Nat. Yes, sir. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, may I say? Sure. It was a delight to work with everybody that we did, and I learned that day that Julianne can take chicken wings off of a rack, off of a smoker faster than anybody I've ever seen. If y'all watched it, the girl is phenomenal.
watch it. She scared me. I was holding one side of the rack.
She could get them down and move on. She is a woman of action.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak under public comment this morning? Okay, we're gonna move on to the clerk of court, Mr. Honorable Matt Reynolds.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Just wanted to update the board on a couple things. The audit will be a couple weeks later than normal this year. As you know, Mrs. Frank left as finance director, so Ryan has done a wonderful job with that. But we expect the annual comprehensive financial report to be finished by the end of April. Normally, it's done by the end of March. So just wanted to let y'all know that, and also I'll be bringing back an updated draft investment policy at either the next meeting or the second meeting in March, hopefully at the next meeting, to have the board take a look at in order to allow me to really, it'll allow me to perform the normal investment management services that I'm charged with doing in statute, but also it will update the county's investment portfolio as well into the things that we can invest in, and it'll modernize that policy, get us on par with counties like St. John's, Marion, the other ones around us. So be looking forward to that, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Matt. When we discuss this on the phone, I just want to bring that as soon as you get the new investment policy from your investment advisor, if you can send it out to the board, even if it's previous to the next agenda, where we can start reviewing it a little bit longer, and then we'll place it on the next, if you're ready, we'll place it on the next meeting under new business.
All right. Yes, sir, I will do.
Thank you, Matt. We're going to move to our county attorney, Mr. Commando. Thank you. Commissioner, he thinks he is commissioner. Administrator Suggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. Thank you to the staff that worked alongside myself, Mr. Commando, and Mr. Gill and his team for putting together what I think is a wonderful union agreement for the next 3 years. You guys did a great job working with us, and thank you very much for that. And so the only other comment I have, Mr. Chairman, is I want to take this opportunity to personally say happy birthday to Ms. Young, who amongst all other things in her extraordinary day-to-day duties, finds time to make good things happen. So,
You didn't serenade her like we did.
no, sir, like I told you earlier, some of us are scared of her. And, but in all seriousness, very blessed and very fortunate to have Ms. Young on our team, and happy birthday to her.
Okay, we're gonna start on commissioner comments, start with Commissioner Adams' act. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple. One of our great leaders in the county, Mr. Don Hansford, passed away last week, and just a real great man, a Marine, and just a man of his word, a man of his handshake. You didn't have to know where he's he stood where he said he was going to stand, and just sad to see our community lose such a great man. Every now and then in our county life, we do something, I think, right. We take heat for it, but I want to bring up last night, returning from Grandin Lake Shores, coming down 315, headed south, got to the S-curve, and there was a bad accident there. So the whole S-curve was completely shut down, and there's only a couple ways to get around, and you got to pretty much know. But years ago, we did some paving out there, and we actually didn't partner, we hooked up to what the town of Interlaken did, and we were able to move traffic down by the ball field, back out Manners Lake Road, and come back around. And we said then if we ever needed to divert traffic because of that, a wreck being in that curve, we could do it. And sure enough, last night that happened. So we were able to do that. And I just want to say, you know, those things are important. The community doesn't know all the reasons why we choose some of the areas we choose to do the work in, but there is a plan, there is a long-term vision, and I'm just very grateful that the board decided back then to do that, because it really helped alleviate a major problem, because had that not happened, it would have just been a nightmare to move people around last night. So I just want to say that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Commissioner Pickens.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Turner. Just also want to commend our staff, JR, and then the Firefighters Union for coming together with this contract. It looks like we're moving forward, and hopefully everybody will be happy with this and make the next contract next year maybe a little easier to keep supporting such a vital part of our community. And I just appreciate everybody's work, because it wasn't that easy just a few years ago. I'd like to commend the concerned citizens of South Putnam. They held their first annual Soul Food Festival in Eva Lyons Park Saturday, last Saturday from 11 to 7. They had a number of different organizations preparing food, and also 5 or 6 food trucks and another 10 or 12 vendors. But they had music and different activities, and really, really well attended by the community, in conjunction with the annual farmers market that the city of Crescent City does. So they really blended well together. And I just wanted to commend them for what they do in South Putnam. They're raising money this time to try to renovate the old African American Masonic Lodge in Crescent City. So this will move that forward. So I just want to commend them for efforts. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Pickens. Commissioner Wilkinson.
Thank you. I wanted to also commend the union and JR and his staff and everyone for working on the local union agreement. A good job by everyone for sure, with the 92.5%. I did the math in agreement on the union side, so that's very, very commendable. And then I wanted to discuss just a little bit about the trash. I know everything that we discussed today regarding code enforcement was trash, and I ride around the county and I see it all the time. I mean, I've literally watched people throw stuff out of their window and right in front of me. And I don't know how we create that change in our community, but it's something that I would like to see happen. And if there's something we can do as a county commission, I'm open for suggestions from citizens. I know that Keep Putnam Beautiful does a wonderful job. Nicole Grace is always out in the community, and she helps at the boat ramps and just all over the community. And I know there's annual and different types of trash pickups. I've certainly participated in some of those over the years. I don't know if we, just get in the forefront and each one of us work one in our own area to show that we really are want to see our county cleaned up. But it's something that we have a challenge with in this community, and I'd like to see it change now. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I apologize for interrupting, but I asked Mr. Tillman to share on that, in that segue there. We got Tyler Anderson coming up with, if you'd like to share anything, Mr. Tillman, solid waste program, and how that might benefit our county.
Fine with me, yeah. I think it's a bigger issue than what we're gonna settle this afternoon. There's a lot of roads are a whole lot worse than a lot of others, and some of them are state roads that we have no part of going and picking the trash up on. So I think there's a lot more issues here than we're just having trash. It's, different scenarios for different areas, so I'm with Commissioner Wilkinson. I'm ready to pick it all up too, but we can't go pick all the state roads up in Putt County. That's up to DOT. They're supposed to do it before they mow or whatever, so, but I'm on board with you. Sure am. Mr. Tilton, would you have anything you'd like to add?
The only thing I would like to add is that we, this year, we have scheduled 3 tire amnesty days, coming up. Our first one will be actually this Saturday, which, will be, I believe, from 9 to 3. And so we will open it up. Everybody, every citizen that comes in will be able to bring 20 tires at no charge that we will then take and process and put up. But this will be the first of 3 of those that we'll have between now and the 1st of June. So we are trying to do, from that standpoint, a couple things to, to help clean up. But it's a systemic problem in Putnam County. I've had guys on the side of the roads picking stuff and people throw it out there in front of them because they're on the side of the road picking it up. I've also told law enforcement, pull them over. If you see the trucks leaving the landfill, pull them over. And we've told them that. So any suggestions or any help when it comes to that matter, but it's a systemic problem we have throughout the country.
Thank you, and I've seen that in the newspaper. I'm sorry. I've seen that advertised in the newspaper as well for the tire pickup, so I appreciate that effort.
We'll also be having a household hazardous waste amnesty day as well, where we partner with Alachua County, and they'll be coming over and setting up their different drums and things to take any chemicals, paints. We already take those, but kind of just make an event out of it, and we'll be able to get rid of them in that day that we set up. And it was a success last year, and we hope to see it just grow from this year.
All the buttons lit up. You still have the floor. Evidently, you're wanting to talk about something. You still have the floor, Ms. Wilson.
Can we make sure that that goes on the county's website, those tire disposal days, and just anybody, we obviously need to get that message out. I know we're doing that in the newspaper, but also any way we can get that out.
Social media too.
Social media. All right, thank you.
Mr. Harvey?
Thank you. That's only going to be at the central landfill.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
Mr. Pickens?
That was my question.
Okay.
We good?
That's all I have, sir.
All
Thank
you
you.
have, okay. Under my commissioner comments, I would like to join everybody else and would be remiss if I didn't thank the staff and union like everybody else did. Also, I'm going to set a meeting for March 7th at 5:05, Tuesday, March 7th, which is a week from today, I believe, and we've got to have a 5:05 in the afternoon budget meeting. So we're going to set it for Tuesday the 7th at 5:05. I also would like to meant to talk to Julianne about this morning, but Commissioner Harvey had her over to the side where I couldn't talk. But so sorry for this and not. We need to put a little more effort in our boat ramps. I've had more than one person reach out to me about this, and some of them are quite upset that we're not keeping the trash picked up as well as they think we should, and some of the trees and some of them need to be trimmed back in some areas, and just if we could maybe, as they go out and look at these, if we could have them look at this a little closer for not just the normal pick up, empty a trash can, but actually things that need to be done to maintain these ramps in a little better condition. I realized that a few years ago that we stopped using the fishing fund money to do this maintenance, but we also allocated money to Parks and Rec to be able to pay for these expenses on top of them. If it's a money issue, then somebody needs to bring that to the board if that's what the issue truly is. We have a lot of citizens that use these boat ramps, and we need to make sure that they get the same love that everybody else gets on their project, whether it be pickleball or whether it be whatever. The boat ramps also need a little love and attention too, from what I'm being told by multiple residents. So if we could look into that, I'd appreciate it, and maybe do a little tree trimming and cleaning up or whatever. Mr. Hoteling, I guess I saw you turned in wait a minute, sir, the public access is over with at this time. And if I allow, sir? On the boat ramps? Okay. What, if I allow you to come up anytime during whatever meeting you wanna come at, then I've got to allow everybody in the future. We had a public comment earlier. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything else to come before the meeting today? Hearing none, this meeting is hereby adjourned.